I'm nearly in a swamp here. There's water everywhere.
Hello and welcome back to Curiosity Mine, and welcome to another chapter of Bush Botany, where we meet up with Warwick Schofield to examine the plants and trees that thrive on the opal fields at Lightning Ridge and their interactions with mining and the local environment. It's pretty common knowledge that there are a lot of plants in the Australian bush that will prick you and stab you and grab you and scratch you or otherwise be an annoyance to you. But today we're going to look at some examples of trees and bushes that you might not expect to have spiky defense mechanisms to protect them.
So we've got here a warrior bush, Apophyllum anomalum. It's very characteristic and quite common through the opal fields. I say it looks like it's having a bad hair day. It does not have leaves at all. It's adapted to the climate. That this green stuff here is simply modified stems, or phyllodes, yes. So just modified stems. They're green, they do the photosynthesizing. Still has a dark coloured barky trunk, but no leaves at all. Just little leaf scales. The leaves are little points along here you would not see. All of the greenery there is modified stems to do the photosynthesis. It has a small black fruit, the warrior bush.
The warrior bush is also known as the currant bush or the broom bush. Warwick mentioned earlier that its scientific name is Apophyllum anomalum, but it's actually been renamed fairly recently to Capparis anomala. Nothing stays still for very long in botanical circles. Capparis anomala is a member of the caper family, the same family as capers, like those little dark things that you find in your mashed potatoes.
What are these little dark things?
Capers.
And it's also the same family as the bush passion fruit, which is not a passion fruit at all because it's actually a caper. Most of the Capparis family are plants which attract the caper white butterfly, the larvae of which will eat the warrior bush and most of the other caper species.
And look, there's a caper white butterfly. My goodness, they're everywhere. So we've got needle bush here, very spiny little points on its leaves, quite spiky, obviously a deterrent for animals to eat it. And yet I think cattle in real drought time will give it a nudge. So it's Hakea leucoptera, so we've all heard of Hakea plants. So it's a native genus. And these are just young ones. And look, here's the parent tree. Here's the main Hakea. And look, there are fruiting bodies on it. These are designed that they will only split open after a fire or in a really dry season. It'll split down there, open out, and there's only 2 seeds, each with a nice wing on it, and they'll float off in the wind and spread it further. But this one's had a few regrowths of juvenile plants around it, and they are the fruits. It has a nice yellow coloured flower. We don't see the flower at this time of this season as it is, but certainly we've got some nice fresh fruits there, and they'll burst open next time there's a fire comes through here or a really dry time. It'll burst open and release the fruit. So look at them all, hundreds of fruits all over this needle bush.
The needlewood is also known as the silver needlewood, the needle hakea, the pinbush, the water tree, or the bullduba. It has a bunch of uses, including manufacturing smoking pipes, traditional medicine, and the seed pods used for making jewellery. The timber of the needlewood is also quite an appealing material for woodworking, which has a rich red colour to it. Curiosity Mine is on Patreon. Patreon is a service that allows you to directly support your favourite creators to allow them to continue making the content that you enjoy. If you think that Curiosity Mine deserves it, please consider supporting the channel on Patreon at either patreon.com/curiositymine or curiositymine.com/Patreon. Dealer's choice. If you choose to support the channel, you'll get your name on this list of amazing people who are already supporting the channel. Thank you so much to each of you. But for now, let's get back to the spiky plants.
So we've got stiff cherry here. It does, in terms of evolution, look a bit like the warrior bush, in that the convergence is that it doesn't have leaves, it just has little leaf scales, and the stems have been modified to photosynthesize. So these are the photosynthetic stems, quite green. The leaves only exist as small scales, so there's no leaves. The leafless ballot is sometimes a common name given to it. Stems, no leaves. Little flowers about to come. There are little buds here looking. So Exocarpos is the genus. Common name stiff cherry. It has a very small red juicy fruit on it, not normally seen. And so this one at the moment looks like it has little flower buds, but stiff cherry, Exocarpos genus. Quite a common plant, obviously again adapted to a harsh, dry climate. And this is a bit of a messy one, isn't it? Look at that. Common, again, place for bowerbirds to get in underneath because it gives that cover all the way down to the ground and they can hide underneath it. Stiff cherry.
The stiff cherry is part of the sandalwood family, and the stiff cherry, or the leafless ballart, was also used in traditional medicine, including as an ingredient in a poultice to treat tuberculosis. It also has properties of antibacterial and anti-inflammatory agents. What's also interesting about ballarts, including the stiff cherry, is that they're root parasites. So their root system will actually invade the root systems of neighbouring plants to steal the moisture and profit from the other plant's hard work. So those are 3 trees or bushes with spiky defence mechanisms. If nothing else, I hope that the Bush Botany series of videos inspires you to recognise a few more things in the green and grey of the bush. I know that from making these videos I now see, personally, a lot more detail in the shrubbery. It's not just a bunch of trees anymore. Like, there's a bimble box with its shiny leaves, and there's a warrior bush with its spiky things that aren't actually leaves. There's a rich landscape of biodiversity, and every plant and tree has eked out its own little niche in the ecosystem to take advantage of some drop of moisture or some available nutrient that only that plant has developed the right superpower to obtain. It's really quite cool, and it's so well illustrated in the arid environment of the opal fields. This video was made with the help of Warwick Schofield with assistance from Margaret Schofield and Kay Wotherspoon. If you enjoyed this video, you should consider subscribing to Curiosity Mine on YouTube and maybe even supporting the channel through Patreon. The link is in the description. And thank you for watching.